Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christelle Martinette with another reading. Today's the end. This is the tail end of May 9th in Europe, and I just put out another scrying session. As I said the last time, I do like pairing them up, putting out the scrying, because it teaches me certain things about how the messages come across. And I'll be doing that continually. So I just put that out in the other YouTube channel called Mystic Scrying Medium Christelle. Now, what I'm feeling here, and this has nothing to do with the scrying session, is that I feel that we're all, we know that a shift is coming. It's as if we know that we're going to be enacting change on from lesser to greater degrees, and it seems that the anxiety, I'm getting less anxiety around from my clients, from my friends, relatives. There's a lot less anxiety compared to last month or even just the last few weeks, and so I'm curious to see what comes up here. These have been pre-shuffled, but okay. There is the energy here is of possession, not material goods. The possession that I'm talking about is having the ability to possess, and this is the similarity with the scrying session, the possession of this stone, the feeling that if I want, this stone can be felt within my hand. And this is you possessing, but also other people possessing as well. And what I'm seeing is that in many different ways, these 9, 10, 11, in many different ways, you will be feeling a sort of pressure, more or less degree, to varying degrees of pressure on your skin, as if the energy around you will giving you more or less pressure, putting on the pressure, removing the pressure, putting on the pressure, removing the pressure, and that it will be pleasant. It will be pleasant. You'll actually feel that the presence of entities and of different spiritual beings, things you don't see, but you'll feel the warmth, you'll feel the hug, you'll feel the embrace, you'll feel the closeness, and you won't feel alone. And this is interesting. But, and there is always a but, of course, there is a sort of downside to that in the sense that we are not all the same, and some of us do feel taken aback when they're losing, in inverted commas, control over their actions, when they feel like, oh my God, something's touched me. Oh, what is this that is coming close? What brushed me past me? What is that? Sometimes you get the impression that you're being followed, that you'll look around, and in a sense, what it is that is around you is this energy that comes in and out, in and out, in and out. And it's a joyous practice. It's a joyous process, because the warning here is to guard against firm practices, becoming too blocked, too bogged down, too set in your ways. That is indeed, in these next 2 or 3 days, it is a danger for you, and it will ruin your entire development. Now, the theme of possession, this theme of having someone take over you and you taking over someone, it's as if the cards are saying to me, let's revisit what love is all about. let's revisit the theme of love in the sense of, and I'll give you an example. I can't get him out of my mind. I just can't get her out of my mind. I wake up, but I loved him. But I did love him. I loved him so much. She was the love of my life. I just want her to be okay. I just want them, and it's suffocating even just to hear it, to listen to someone say that. But it's necessary to vent. It's necessary to bring out, because then if you had a tape recorder, you could hear yourself, and you would just want to turn it off because it would be bothering you to listen to. What I'm talking about is how we're considering love in a different way, how the power of love can destroy and can embrace. This is what I'm saying. And when it destroys, it is destroyed. Another energy is born of that. And it's quite interesting to see that you have this moment, these 2 or 3 days. And I use the word in the scrying session to experiment. Experimenting how that feels on my skin, how this stone feels, and how I can use it, and what can I use it for, and almost as if you can use love for something. I don't want to be alone. Life would be so much better if we could pool our resources and make dinners for each other every day. We'd be so happy. There's a song by a French rapper, and one of the lines says something to this effect. If I loved you the way you wanted, you'd get so bored, and and there's a lot to be said about that. Now let's see what this other deck adds to this. This is the Golden Dawn Initiatory Tarot deck. And then you might be thinking, well, how many ways are there to love? Well, silence is really golden sometimes in an energy, a love energy between people. Silence does speak volumes, and you can feel so many things. And like Le Petit Prince, this novel has been translated in over 150 languages. It says the best things are invisible to the eye. The most powerful things are invisible to the eye. And I would add to the ear as well, Yes, there is definitely the theme here of partnering, and the no matter how busy you are, how much work you have, how many projects you have, and how many problems you have, the notion of partnering and the companionship is very, very strong these days, extremely strong. It will condition you in many ways. It'll make you see how you work, your work patterns in a different way. It will fine-tune your desires, actually, and fine-tune the way you conceive of working, actually working. You'll be prone these days to more so than ever, in the past few weeks, of taking time off willingly for a break, and to have fun, to relax. You'll be doing that much more, because it seems that all that glitters is not gold, and that's what we see. That we know that, okay. But very quickly, the energy rushes in to put 1, 2, 3 matters, 3 topics, 3 themes, one on top of another. Money, time, and love. Money, time, and love. Overlapping these ideas. And they'll be inextricably linked. Time How much longer can I wait? I don't want so much time to go warm. We have waited enough. Oh, we have all the time in the world. It will be a pressing need to consider timing these days in relation to partnering, whether you need more or less time. But I see a rush here. I see movement. I see movement to go toward and try to tease apart these three themes. These three themes: livelihood, work, love, and time out. Not working too hard, trying to favor your time. Maybe free time I could wed with my activity. Maybe I could do something that I love so much that it won't feel like work, and that so there are a lot of ways you think that maybe that other significant other can work with me in a business that would develop ourselves as a couple. There are many different ways this can play out. But it's very rich, it's very favorable, and the more you keep one eye to the past, it seems that one eye is blinking, it's sort of winking at the past. One eye is just looking back, winking. You're going on, you're going forward, doing whatever you have to do, but you're turning your head and you're winking to that past. And you're seeing it in a different way. You almost think that, well, it's hopeful, there's hope there. I really need to make the ground rules. Let me work out the ground rules for myself. What would we need? Could we possibly be in a room together 8 days, 8 hours in a day to work? Wouldn't it be best if one was in the office, one were in the office, one were doing the other thing in another place? A backup, the one would be a backup person, one would be a forward-looking person, the go-getter, and the other would be the accountant or something like this. You're trying to think of ways, potentially. You're working out a plan. It's almost as if you're working out an offer, because you don't want to come prepared. Well, actually, ladies and gentlemen, it's a way of controlling. I see this as a way of controlling your emotions. And, it's almost as if you're going to jump in and just trying to make and talk about different plans and a strategy that for you to be together, but then filling it with all different types of timetables. And, where would we live, here, there? No, but it's best to live there, because then that, all of those things. And it almost seems as if the emotional side to the story, or the emotional talk to the story, is sort of sidestepped because of the difficulty and the delicacy of the topic for you. And, it may not help to do that, but, if you cannot, if it is so difficult to face certain themes, it would be best then to do it however you please and however, suits you best. But, remember that it's important for you to interact with the other person. It's important for you to be able to have input from that other person, instead of you just charging in with your own little strategy. And, you're controlling it. You want it the way you want it, And so it's like I always say, that the tango, there are two to tango. If you want to dance, you really have to dance as a partnerships, you have to get together. And it's difficult that the idea of talking about making plans together, because the fear of rejection is always so great. And I've heard a lot of about fear these days. I've had a lot of people talking to me about fear, and I feel that was a theme of late, recent theme. And I'm going to take the Sibylla on a couple of cards here. The timing factor. Okay. Two cards that contradict each other. The Eight of Wands, which is such a fast-moving card, and the Four of Swords, that is the restful, taking time out. And I'm going to see what these cards can. Ooh, well, let's leave those turned upside down for now. I'll add this here, add this here. Okay, over the Eight of Wands, over the Eight of Wands, over the Eight of Wands. Okay, now, the Eight of Wands, the speed, it's, these cards, this is Costanza, Constance, jealousy, which also could be a loss, loss of of money or tears this is. These gifts that can be also obstacles, and these are deliranti, the delirious people who also speaks to nervousness. Now, what I have here is this stop go pattern, but the underlying factor is that Constance is there, that we're still here to talk about it, and of course the nervousness is around this exchange, this idea of bringing something, omaggio di prezzo, is giving, it's an offer, around this offer, and it's something over this Eight of Swords that you feel the need that it needs to be done quickly. Now let's take a look at over this Four of Swords what the cards say. All right, this is the male lover, l'amante, the mercante, the merchant, the vedovo, the widower or the widow, regrets there, and leggerezza. Leggerezza is lightness of being here. Now, this is eventually what you're aiming for, and that is why it's over the Four of Swords, because the theme of love, money, and time, the passing of time, is reproduced here. And you're seeking lightness of being with these three themes. And not only that, over the Four of Swords, the leggerezza is the object. Departing from the Four of Swords, these are saying that maybe it would serve me well to take 1-2 days, just a few more days, a little bit more time to see and plan this offer that I'm about to make. Those three themes that keep coming out. Let's see if I could go over the possession, the notion of possession, and how love seeks to control so often. And of course, that's a contradiction in terms. Okay. The stanza, the room, news coming in. The letter, again, news. And denaro, which could also be a marriage or an offer, things like that. Possession, it's almost as if the extending of an offer is a way for further control. I'm going to ask him to marry me. I'm going to ask her to marry me. Because if I'm married to her, there's a little more control. If I go to live with her, I'll see her. If I'm not in her house and she's not in my house, if we're not together, it would lend to jealousy perhaps. It's this mulino, your mind is turning over and over and over again in terms of trying to not make it seem as a controlling effort, but then there is the control there. Let's see what the runes help tell us in terms of this element of control over these three different themes: love, money, and time. This is come out. Look, gifu, the gift, the interaction has come up again. It's the third time that has come up. Weird. Manats, beautiful. Any way you cut it, there could be fear, there could be a desire to control, there could be... The underlying message is that there is a relationship that is sought after. There is. And that is protected by the universe. You have universal protection in your desire to come into a relationship. Now, I tend to be speechless when I have such a, this extremely important message that comes up. That, Pedro here, Bright Stave, is telling me that I'm right on track. I'm right on the money. I'm right on with those three themes and the idea of control and the exchange of gifts. And it does concern, an offer, a relationship coming together, it will be poised, it will be growing, it will be birthing, it will be coming about in a moment that's very propitious, that is protected. And the last three runes are speaking a message that is just so lovely. There's a branching out of love when the parties even just start to walk toward each other, even in their thoughts. They become more abundant, abundant in happiness, abundant in, they'll see money coming in. They become more abundant in their view of how love surrounds other people. They become more caring of others. They actually become more pleasurable. When you're in love, what I'm seeing here is that when you start enacting that walk toward the other person, it happens to me all the time. I start to meet other people, it seems like you could see it in your face, in your body, the love, and people tend to gravitate toward happiness and love. And Manats is for me, it does talk of a couple, of human experience coming together in joy. And of course, this weird is always a wild card for the runes. And here it's just underlying to me the importance of doing it in your own fashion, in your own timing. And when you feel best, it is that you are ready to do that. Quite interesting this is. Ladies and gentlemen, namaste. I do hope this was of help for you for these days, 9, 10, 11. And until we read together again, bye-bye. Do go visit that other channel I have, Mystic Scrying Medium Christelle, where I scry as well. Bye-bye.